present. Sure. Yeah, let's go ahead. Go ahead and close it if you want. Is it, or is it from the back, front? How do we do it?
It's right there.
Yeah, if you'd like to listen, come on in. Otherwise, if you want to chat, go on out. Appreciate it. Cool. Well, I guess I'll go ahead and get started. Hey, I'm Matthew White. Nick Starke's here, right here. No, I'm kidding. He's at home. Crazy. Did you guys see the tornado in Slack? This is wild. All I know is I'd be shaking like, okay, it's going that way. Yes, continue to go that way. So yeah, he's dealing with power problems right now. So, all right. So I don't know. Raise your hands. Who all's played with PFSense already? A couple people out there. All right, cool. So again, PFSense is open. What is it? It's an open source firewall software suite, UTM, whatever. Does lots of different things, which we'll get into here in a second. Nick included the GitHub link if you want to roll your own. You can actually compile it from source, or otherwise you can grab an image off pfsense.org as well. Again, what can it be used for? I'll be covering the very first topic, using it as a DSL modem. Nick had the other pieces of the puzzle, using it as the WAN LAN router, DHCP client, DNS server, IPS, IDS, and VPN. He had a demo that he was walking you through. But again, has anybody actually used it as a DSL modem? No? Okay. Sweet. I was hoping for that. So again, what? A DSL modem? Why do that? You know, so consumer modems, as Nick can attest to, have vulnerabilities that vendors just plain refuse to fix. Also, the Mirai botnet and the VPN filter and various other ones that are out there, and because it's fun. And so, and I got the meme of the guy, nation states. So Russia, yeah, right? So here's my first example. Links at the bottom if you'd like to read more about it. I try to get real brief with this. So here's an example where there was an AT&T modem. Eris was the manufacturer. So backdoor number one was hard-coded SSH credentials. Remote SSH was the username, and there's the password. Then there's backdoor number two, magical port 49955 that just keeps on giving. There's two pieces to that. It's vulnerable to injection, as well as there's default creds of tech and no password. And so, and it was noted that ISPs could easily filter and stop the exploitation of this bug. Backdoor number three, it's hard-coded creds again on port 61001. There they are. And as well as backdoor number four, which is the firewall bypass via port 49152. And again, if you want to read all about it, follow the link. So I decided to go to Shodan, our favorite tool. Look, 2,695,647 devices are using port 491152. So you can only imagine what kind of fun someone could have with this. So, got any of that technical information? You're sounding like a vendor. You're pitching me PFSense here. So the first thing you want to consider when making an IPS IDS with PFSense box is throughput. Again, you're putting overhead on a network device that and especially if you're spending precious dollars on gigabit internet, you want to be able to get your gigabit throughput. So consider your processor that you're using to be able to get the throughput that you're needing there. As you see, to be able to do the CenturyLink gigabit or the media, well, actually it doesn't work with Mediacom, I'll get to that. But to do the CenturyLink a gigabit, you need at least a 3.5 gigahertz quad core or octa-core. So what you'll need, you'll also need for VDSL2, ADSL2+, it's also known as fiber to the curb. There's a link there that you can go ahead and find later. Draytech makes these PCI Express cards to be able to use it with your regular DSL copper that goes into your house. And if you have fiber to the home, then you'll just need 2 gigabit E's, or you can do a gigabit E and then you can switch to fiber channel with your small pluggable converter to do fiber channel on the back end. I looked into actually pumping fiber straight into doing straight fiber channel because I'm a nerd like that. But unfortunately, you need your GPON MUX on the, or ONT on the side of the house for it to be able to do that. And again, you could buy 10 gig eNICs to future-proof it in case you just want to be elite sauce like that. So again, how would I configure this? So I've got DSL at my house. What do I need to do? So under the Interfaces tab, you first click Interface, go into your WAN link. Well, first you'd need to set up your interfaces. And then you actually, from there, you'd want to choose the interface. From the drop-down box there under IP4 configuration, you're going to go ahead and select PPPoE, put in your credentials there. Next, you'll also want to not forget, if you have fiber to the home, your VLAN tagging. And CenturyLink by default uses VLAN 201. So if you're wondering why it's not working, remember you need to VLAN tag your connection there with the port that you're using. And make sure you get your WAN and your LAN right. So potential gotchas, like what can go wrong? Like why am I pulling out my hair and trying to do this? One of the things I found is making an ESXi host and running it on a virtual machine. Unless you make your ports static, you're going to have your ports flopping around every time your machine, either the power goes out or whatever, because your machine will boot up, then PFSense will boot up. And then all of a sudden it's like, well, why isn't it working? Well, then you have to go ahead and flop your cables around and re-VLAN tag the opposite one, either in your hypervisor or whatever. So make your ports static if you're using a hypervisor. If you're using bare metal, you're good to go. Let's see here. Yep, and also make sure you're not double VLAN tagging. Otherwise, you can run into problems there. I don't know. Have you run into problems there in double VLAN tagging? Yep. It sounds broke. Yep, it is. So again, feeling like hard mode, you can go to that GitHub and roll your own from BSD and roll your own BSD box and then roll it from source. Otherwise, you can get the ISO. And really, that was it for my presentation. This is where Nick would talk about setting up the routing functions and being able to set up segmentation, making sure your ports are enabled. Again, dashboards are awesome. So you can see your throughput at any given moment and various other things like that. If you'd like to know more, we can chat on the side. Otherwise, that's really what I had for today.
Why can't we use it with MediaCom?
Yep, that's a great question. Thanks for asking that. So when I looked into the RG6 PCI Express card, it's not supported for the DOCSIS 3 and 3.1 cards yet. And if any of you found it differently, please teach me, because of all my scouring on the forums, I have not found it to be DOCSIS 3 and 3.1 compatible. So, any other questions for me?
What's the benefit of going through the PCI Express card, especially on like MediaCom for myself, versus just going through the modem and then going through RG6?
So with MediaCom, really, I think at that point, if I had have to do that, I would try to set it up in a bridge mode if possible, so nothing can hit my modem. It would just pass the traffic and tunnel it right through to the firewall. Because the whole point of this is just I want it to hit my firewall, and I want it to hit my IPS IDS rules. Again, with Snort, there's like 5 different rule sets that are free out of the box that you can take advantage of. Again, you can roll with Snort, Suricata, and choose your flavor, but I tend to use Snort because there were more rule sets that I could integrate with that.
So I found, I don't know if I got lucky or what, but the integrated NIC that I used was able to do the conversion from the AdTran to all the VLANs and all that crap. Is the reason for the PCIe card that it does it in hardware, so I'm not taxing the processor as much? Or?
So when I Googled it again, if there are other cards out there that exist, that there may, just the ones that I saw that were out there that were quick Googleable, or the ones that I personally use happen to be PCIe cards. So, any other questions?
Benefits of rolling out between your own hardware versus what they sell on the website. What's your take on that?
Yeah, so if you own your own box, right, you own your own server, you can control how much memory and your CPU, or at least in the beginning, or at least upgrade your stuff to where with their hardware out of the box, you'd end up having to sell your other one and buy a new one, to where at least if you have your own server, you can upgrade it like your normal PC. And then you could also add more ports and stuff like that, so you have scalability and stuff like that. It? Well, thanks, guys. Enjoy the rest of your time here.
All right, with that, thank you very much.